Welcome, everyone. It's the Mike Tech Show, show number 946. Tonight, I'm going to talk about my prostate biopsy story. I want to share. I have stories from the trenches, and I have some really cool links that you're going to want that are, I know you're going to use them. So let's start with what I've been going through the last few months. And actually, before we do that, let's talk about our sponsor, Instant House Call, and remote support software for a year for $7. You got to be kidding me. This is a steal. This is a steal. Everybody in the sound of my voice should be signing up for this to test it out and try it. It's the full version. It's a full year, which is normally $468. And you can get this for $7. I am so glad that Instant House Calls back and to be able to share this with everybody. If you go to my main website, there is a link, and it's a link at the top, but it's also in the show notes, and it's going to be there in the coming show notes. Click on that. It's a dedicated landing page that I created that goes over all of the you can have 10 concurrent sessions. You could be remotely connected to 10 systems at the same time. This is an incredible deal. This is a no-brainer. So go to the website, click on the link for Instant House Call, and just sign up for $7. You got to do it. Okay. One of the things that I did over like about a year ago, and actually a couple years ago, anybody over 50, you should be getting what they call a PSA blood test. And that's the first link from WebMD for the show notes. And mine was normal. And normal means you need to be below 3. Now, I did another one a few months ago, maybe 6 months ago, and it was a 4. We're like, okay, well, we should do another one. It was a 6. That's not good. So my doctor recommended, my GP in Pennsylvania recommended a urologist. Seen the urologist. He gave me, to do another blood test, and it came down, but it was like a 4. And then we did it again, and it was like a 6. And he's like, look, we got to get a little more serious here. And we're trying to avoid the biopsy. That's what, we were trying to avoid. So we did an MRI. And that's like the next step. I'm going to take you through the stages of testing of what you would do. And the MRI, there's a rank between 1 and 5. 1 means there's no need to have it. But I was a 2, meaning, well, there's a possibility. I mean, thankful that it wasn't higher, but it was a 2. So again, we're kind of, so this is now, another month later, and he recommends, and this, I don't know if anybody's ever heard of. I never even heard of this until I took it. It's an XODX prostate test. They send you the kit. It's just a urine test, and you get a pack that you have to freeze. You have to send it. They have the shipping already done. It's for overnight. So you plan on when you're going to take the test, and it's got to be in the morning. And then you literally pack it up based on their instructions, and you take it to FedEx where it'll be overnighted. Now, I got the results back from that a week later. They have a scale you want from 15 to 100, and they want you to be below 15. Well, my number was 66. That is not good. And that means there's a very, very strong possibility of prostate cancer. So Now we absolutely have to do and schedule a biopsy. But I'm not back in Pennsylvania when I get this result back. I'm down in Florida. And so my urologist says, Mike, I can't have you wait until you come back. You got to, you know, get a relationship with a urologist down there in the Tampa area and get it scheduled. So I take all my tests. And I'm going to say his name, Dr. Klein, who did a great job. He schedules me for the prostate biopsy. That means they put me completely under. It's a surgical procedure where they go in and they take 12 samples of my prostate, and what they're going to do is examine that to see if there's cancer. Why he was in there, he also wanted to check out some things with my bladder. So the big thing was the samples, and this is definitive. This will determine, if I have cancer, what part of the prostate, what number, what stage is it? And then they have like a Gleason score that they give you. So if you start doing any research from cancer, and that's why I have all these links for you. You really need to take, this is a test, that urine test I'm showing on the screen. And anybody 50 or older, and anybody who's had a PSA that's a 2 to 10, this is like that extra step, very easy to do. So the Thursday night that I skipped a couple weeks ago, I had the surgical procedure scheduled for that Friday on the 18th. So that was scheduled on the 18th, and I have a link here that it was the transrectal method, and this goes through and complications afterwards. Oh yeah, bruising and mild pain, bleeding, infection, trouble urinating. I was very lucky. I mean, I hate to get, so blatant and so direct, but this is important. And if you are older, you need to take a look at this, because this is important. It's like 1 out of 3 men get this. And so I was, even doing the show last Thursday, I was still on pins and needles. I was losing sleep, waiting for these results. And they had told me that it was going to be possibly up to 3 weeks. But I got the call this week, and they said everything was benign. Everything was benign, and there is no cancer at all in my prostate. I have a follow-up visit at the end of May, and I am so thankful, because I was really worried about this. And here's why I was worried. That I had a CFO of one of our biggest clients that we're still at, the CFO and a production manager at the manufacturing facility, while I was there consulting, literally on site once a week. In the beginning, it was multiple days. Two people that I know died of prostate cancer, where it spread and they couldn't get control of it, and they ended up with their bones. It was infected, and it was horrible. 2 funerals. I mean, it was, so that was stuck in my head. When you know, how many people know anyone that's died of prostate cancer? Most people can handle it, and it's not that, it can be bad, but it's curable. If you find it early enough, it's treatable, and you can live a life. But I knew 2 people that passed away. So in my head, I was extremely worried, but I was prepared, and I had this ready, that whenever I got the results, whatever they were, I'm going to discuss them here on the show, because I consider you part of my extended family. I share everything that I can share. And I look at this as, yes, it's a tech show, but it's also This is it's like my online diary. I've been doing this. I'm on year 21 now, and some of you have been with me for the 20 years. That's family. You know, some of you probably have a longer relationship listening to me than you do with people around you. So I know this, and that's why I wanted to take a couple minutes. If you're new to the show, you're like, oh, what's he talking about? What's it? Just bear with me. And it's everything's from the heart. And if I can, and thank you for the comments in the chat, if I can help one person that maybe you hear this and you're like, I'm going to have that PSA test. Oh, I got to do more. If you can catch it early enough, it's treatable. And I went through all the things that I might be having to go through for treatment. So I would know and have, be educated to sit when they discuss it with me, which procedure, what would I do? And I was kind of armed myself, maybe too much. Just a quick story I'll never forget. When I was having my eye surgery years ago with cataracts, and they put a lens that it ended up being good, where I don't have to wear glasses. These are reading glasses, and they're actually computer reading glasses for that distance from the monitor. And there's a slight blue tint. Anyway, I don't have to wear glasses while I'm driving. We corrected the long distance vision. And I'll never forget they did the one eye. So he said, just take the lens out when it was healed. Take the lens out of your glasses, and then you'll have your lens for the one eye and nothing for the other eye. My brain couldn't handle that. And it was like I was blind. Everything was blurry. It was just horrible, horrible, horrible. And I'm reading online all these horrible things that can happen when you have cataract surgery and cataract surgery gone bad. And I'm experiencing a lot of the symptoms that I'm reading. And I was a mess. I'm in the doctor's office, the eye doctor who did the surgery. And my wife's there. And he goes to my wife and he says, is there any way you could block the internet from your husband? And he says, give me 2 minutes. I'm going to solve this right now. And he goes and he comes back and he goes to, he takes the glasses off and he goes to the eye that hasn't had the surgery yet, that's scheduled for in a few weeks. And he puts a contact lens in, and it was like a switch was thrown. It was magic. And it was magnificent, and I was able to see perfectly. So all I had to do was have this contact lens in until the next surgery for that eye. And I was so happy. And let me tell you, after the surgery, it was like a whole world opened up, a brightness that I have never seen since, I wore glasses since I was like 5-6 years old. So, literally the whole world opened up to me, and it was because of the cataracts. So, we changed that into a positive. So I tried to put myself in that kind of a frame of mind that, whatever we find, this is good. We're going to do it we're going to nail this. And no matter what, it's going to be better. So I kept trying to give my, a peace of mind. But now with the good news, all I had to do was just say that in the beginning of the show. And I'm looking here and I'm taking more time than I had planned, but I wanted to share everything and all these sites because I want to educate. I want to share, and hey, if this can help someone, or hey, I know a lot of female techs, listen, hey, maybe your husband or significant other or somebody that that's over 50, they should be doing this, just like colonoscopies. I know. It's ugly, painful, but we got to do it. We have to have it. These are things that we want to stay ahead. 2 things as we get older that I'm worried about: cancer and falling. So that's always on my mind. All right, enough of that. And I am so glad that I was planning on not going back to Pennsylvania for any treatment. I was going to stay here. So now let's get into the schedule a little bit here. My wife is driving down with my two grandsons the beginning of June. They're going to spend a couple weeks with me, and then I'm going to drive back with them. So this way I don't have to fly back. And I'm going to be back there till the beginning of September, and then I'm coming back down. So half of June, July, August, I'll be back in Pennsylvania doing my shows from back there and visiting clients. And let's roll into stories from the trenches. Today, I had a great conversation with an MSP from Pennsylvania that I know. We go back a long time. A few years ago, we actually did some work together with a client, and he reached out to me actually a few weeks ago, letting me know that one of his biggest clients has expanded and bought facilities down here. As a matter of fact, in St. Petersburg, Florida, which isn't that far. And so he called me today, and I don't have the go yet, but it looks like I'll get this tomorrow. I will have a client that I got a lot of hours, and you'll love this because it's not hard, but it's going to be time consuming. 4 systems that I got to wipe clean and then install Windows 11 Pro from scratch. Then set up getting them connected to Azure for login, and then putting the accounts, making sure Office 365 is installed and set up, all the updates, make sure they're connecting to the printers. That's a lot of work per system. And we got 4 systems that I'm going to do that to. And then a great contact for if he ever needs to dispatch me, I will be doing it under the umbrella of his company's name. So it won't be my MHS Consulting, and that's fine. I love that. And here is a great lesson on that. If you do what we do, I'll never forget Winston Wolfe being out at my house for a project on the weekend that he was teaching me plus helping me, and he was billable on doing a migration to Windows Server 2008 and migrating from 2003 or something like that, very old, and going to the newer version at the time and doing a whole server migration. And he was basically teaching me, and we were doing it. And I'll never forget, after he got here, he comes over to my house, and we're going to be heading over in the morning, and he says, "Oh, do you have an MHS Consulting t-shirt for me to wear?" And I was like, "No, I don't." I mean, now I do. I have a few different sizes. He says, "Okay, so I'll brand my company and wear my shirt." So that was the message. That was the lesson. And I learned that well. And that's why any of my kids or anybody that's doing work for me, you will be wearing an MHS Consulting shirt under the umbrella of my branding. So now I don't have a shirt for him, but maybe, you know what? If this goes well, he should be shipping some for my size. So this way, as I do any kind of a work for him, I'll be doing it under his umbrella. But I understand that, and I got to preserve that. And I am looking forward to that, to that work. We are being crushed with system installs, and it's not so much getting them ordered and then getting paid. It's scheduling those systems to be set up and installed. And of course, the software we're using, my son takes the drive out, and we use Fab's Auto Backup 7 Pro. Never has that become so important to us, because that is what we are using on every one of these systems, where we're taking their data, taking everything, and migrating it, all of their browser settings and bookmarks and extensions. This is what Fabs allows you to do. And there's going to be a link always in the show notes. So If you don't have it, you just buy it. I mean, this is easy stuff. Remember, I will only talk about, and especially pushing anything like that, that means I personally use it. Like Instant House Call, like Magnus Box for the backups, for the online backups, Fab's Auto Backup. He's using it every day. So today, my son fell ill for the day, and he had some systems to schedule on site. So he's had to do that. He's had to reschedule that and made tomorrow a longer day than I'm sure he planned, and then into next week. So it has been, getting the work done is a challenge, and the stacks of systems that are still back in our office, it's amazing, because then you got a lot of prep work too that we do on these Dells, and Dell has been very, very good. I want to get to the, I'm thinking of doing a segue into some of the work. Well, here you go. And then I'll come back, and there's a reason I'll come back to the Dell systems. There's a link that you're going to want that I just learned about a week ago. The phones, everybody's been getting new phones, and I'm shocked that they don't wait till September to just start getting them, but we have a lot of phones set up. And we have clients that are Exchange hosted with SureWeb, so there's a process, and then we have Microsoft hosted. So when they get the new phones, we walk them through. I have a client that they're in New York, and they insist upon coming down and having one of us take care of it personally, like handing the system, handing the phone, and it was an Android phone, a Samsung, and they got a new MacBook. And so they went, and that was scheduled last Friday with my son. That went well. I was on the phone helping a little bit and got that all set up. Then there's a couple that I've done, including one today. A client decides to get a new phone while he's in San Francisco. Don't know why. Why decide that? Who knows? So had to help him get configured, and he was SureWeb. So now having a problem with Gmail and setting up Outlook, and I have to, as a matter of fact, I thought I nailed it, where I had it all set up for IMAP and everything working great. But now the client called me and left a voicemail late in the day today, and I got to get back to him. He's going to be my first call tomorrow morning, where mail stopped coming in. But when you do the test in Outlook, it completes the receive and the send. I was doing it with Pop, and it was just, he wasn't getting new messages. And I don't understand. So then I do it again with, on Pop, I understand now, because he has a Mac. And this just dawned on me, that with Pop, it depends on the settings. So I moved him to IMAP, and I figured this solved everything, because he was seeing everything. But IMAP's not showing him, where that's when you have multiple places that you're getting mail. You want to use the IMAP protocol, unless you can use Exchange protocol. But if it's Pop or IMAP, you always want to choose IMAP, because it'll sync across all your systems, and you never have to worry about missing mail on one system versus another. So I just gave myself some ideas on that. And by the way, if you have any comments on any of this, please email me, MikeTechShow@gmail.com. So a client, and I think I might have mentioned this in, when did I mention this? And give me a second. I need to get to the website. Okay, hold on. Okay, so I get to I have a client that we ship a computer, and this was like over a month ago. Now, my Dell rep was away for a few days. The new Dell rep for that like kind of filled his shoes, I had 5 systems for a project. I ordered the 5 computers, no problem, went online, but they shipped them to this one-time drop ship client in South Carolina. I'm like, no, because he called me and he's like, Mike, there are 3 Dell Optiplexes in boxes here that I assume were supposed to go to you. And I said, you are correct. And Dell, luckily, there was 3 shipped, and then there was 2 that were going to be individually shipped because they had specific configurations. As a matter of fact, I think I talked about them. Like, one's a peer server, so we have a larger hard drive on the one and more memory, and a larger hard drive on another. And so the 3 that could ship quick, they did, but the other 2, they were able to reroute. But it's interesting. They get as far as South Carolina, then discover that before they put it on a truck, and then relabel it and ship it back to Pennsylvania. So we got the 2, but the 3 had to be shipped. And this is where this is a link that you are going to want to know. And this is pirateship.com. For the 3 systems, he sent it via United States Post Office, and you can ship it, via UPS. Where it says here, save up to 89%. Oh, he's right. Those 3 systems, he shipped for $25. And I got them in a couple days with no trouble. So I learned of this, and I'm like, you just log in, right? You create a free account. You enter the length, the width, the height, the weight, and how many ounces, and you print the label. It shows you all of the options. So you could go second day air. You get all of the options after you you fill in that info, and you just print the label and then take it and drop it off. I don't know what you do for shipping, but I now know what we're going to do, especially since this successfully worked with 3 computers. So now we don't talk about the insurance in here, and we really should, because you should insure it for whatever you have to. And I didn't even think of that, and he shipped it. So I was very lucky, I did get them all. But this is a link. You should definitely test it out before you 100% commit to it. And it's called pirateship.com. This was one of those links in the beginning of the show I said you are going to absolutely want to have. And any way to still use UPS or USPS, and you can track your shipments and everything, and to save a ton of money. Wow, this is it. So, what are the other utilities that I wanted to talk about? How about bulk rename? So these are 2 I was planning on going to kind of sampling them, but these are free utilities if you got to do a bulk rename. Now, I've ran into this in the past with a client that had all their photos and they needed to bulk rename the photos. And you want to check this out. They both offer different types of features. One is called bulk rename utility. And of course, the link will be in the show notes. And the other one is advanced renamer. And it's batch file renaming utility for Windows and the Mac. And it's a very simple interface. And boy, if not you, I know you're going to have a client that you're going to want to be able to absolutely need this because you're going to run into it. I run into this a lot where, we got to bulk rename something where a client asked me, and you want to be armed, and why not with these two utilities? And download them, play with it, check it out, test it out, kick the tires, and then know how to use it. And you can, actually use it to make more money because you'll have more billable time and actually deploying that and using it. So, Taz, yep, pirate ship is awesome. Wish we knew about this for my luggage. Yes. You know what? Taz, you are absolutely right. We paid a fortune when he left a bag after visiting. Used it to ship 4 rims and tires to California. Saved like 60%. Highly recommend. Yes. So there you go. That was what's the takeaway from today? What's the takeaway? Test often. Test early to prevent any long-term cancer problems. That's message 1. Message 2, pirate ship for shipping. And 3, we got some great bulk rename utilities. There you go. That's the takeaway for tonight's show. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for staying subscribed. And, another takeaway, instant house call for $7. That's great. So thank you. And don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube show. Every show I put on YouTube, and that's youtube.com/Michael Smith MTS. Please click subscribe when you visit. I really appreciate it. And that's it. And I'll see you next week. Same time, same channel. Bye-bye, everybody.